What's stopping prostitution from being legal? Sex trafficking, the fact most prostitutes don't want to be but don't have a choice, mothers pimping out daughters for money, brothels advertising themselves as housing for vulnerable women, a whole load of reasons. Like yeah, I'm sure some genuinely do just enjoy it, but I imagine the vast majority do not, or can't even say no. And making it legal would make the problem 10x worse. However, I don't believe women should be prosecuted. I believe there should be thorough investigations into why this is happening and they're given aid instead. No woman would willingly do it for less than a huge amount of money. Which is why most women in the industry are coerced through trafficking and drug addiction whether it's legal or not. There are also serious anti-social issues with brothels attracting creeps into one area putting all other women at risk. I think they should just prosecute traffickers and pimps, charge anybody paying for a coerced woman with rape and ban brothels. If women want to sell themselves to the highest bidder, they should be allowed to do that. Prudish people who fear either cock or twat, or both. They see it in their dreams, and they wake up disoriented, lustful and angy about genitals. They are people who are not content with merely telling you or I what to do, they need to enforce their will on. If perhaps they come across a sign, "Pussy for sale," they are immediately suspect and resentful. They have no say, for that pussy is free market. From my experience, those who want it legal and those who don't are not even talking about the same thing. It's a bad dangerous profession for my daughter, so let's make it illegal to protect our crowd versus the prostitution exists, so let's protect these women and the customers to some extent by giving it a legal framed crowd. What's actually stopping it is politics. People still believe that prostitution can be wiped out by the law. Ignorance towards the safety and well-being of sex workers. Also, people bring moral arguments, which is true for forced prostitution but false for consensual prostitutes. If you regulate it, you can minimize harm. If you don't, people aren't held accountable and can get away with committing crimes. It depends where you are from. I think Sweden does it right, where prostitution is illegal to buy but not illegal to sell. The women involved in prostitution are often being exploited and tend to psychological drug abuse issues, and I don't think that sleazy men should be able to take advantage of that for their own sexual purposes or for financial gain. For as long as humans have been forming societies, there have been people willing to sell it and other people realizing that if they cannot control who has sex with who, then they are losing a lot of their power. If for no other reason, sex work should be legal because it deprives those people of one of the linchpins that they used to control us. In some places, it is legal. Where you live, presumably some people would need to write and pass laws to make it legal if it is currently illegal. To do that, they would need to want to change it if you live in a dictatorship type place, or they would need to feel it was an election winning move if you live in a democratic type place. Same thing that's stopping weed, abortions, and discussions of LGBTQ in schools from being legal. And that is either government officials that are puppets, or government officials that are old and think that because they think it's wrong and would never do it, using morality and religions as an excuse, it means nobody else should. 90% of society in America. The same girl with 20 body count, will judge a girl with 20 body count with half paid. Majority of men look down men who entertain SW because they claim we have no game, and it's pathetic we pay. Look at how the world treated Riley Reid on her wedding day. Source: regular at the Nevada brothels. Probably the misconceptions of what legalizing it truly does. It's legal in Canada, the process is as simple as calling a number they cannot solicit you and you arrange a meeting at a hotel room. And much less abuse happens due to the absence of a pimp, the regulations, and the women don't have to go out at night and solicit. It would be too hard to regulate and tax, so the government can't make any money and they can stand the competition. If it is illegal, then they can get some income through fines. Also, it causes religious conservatives heartburn to think someone is actually paying for pleasure, and both parties benefit in some way. Legalizing prostitution? Well, it seems society is still figuring out whether to put the pro in prostitution or keep it on the naughty list. It's a complicated topic that keeps politicians and philosophers scratching their heads. Until then, let's just say it's a debate that's keeping everyone on their toes. In the US? People that want to feel morally superior to others. They claim that prostitution is bad and that it hurts women, and then don't care that it still happens and lots of people get hurt because it's illegal. They don't actually care about the damage, they care about appearing to be morally righteous. In what world should it be legal? Sex isn't a commodity. You cannot buy consent. But consent is not true consent. BC, if the money wasn't there, guarantee they wouldn't sleep with you. It's a system based on abuse and control. Completely immoral, never has been right, never will be. Beside those mind your own bullshit, hypocrite reasons, there are also some real reasons why it shall be controlled by the government, because not only that women might be forced into it, but also some customers prefer to do things that are against respecting humans. The maintaining of the family unit is a foundational building block of modern-day society. A large percentage of men would never date or marry if they could get sex at the drop of a hat. Then you'd have a reduction in population, and then fewer taxpayers. In many countries prostitution is legal. There are many brothels illegally operating in many cities across the world. But as far as I know, unlike as is the case with other professions, sex workers in many countries are not protected under normal labor laws. They'll of course never say it, but most lawmakers are men, and I think deep down or even subconsciously, they're jealous that dick isn't as valuable as pussy. Men will pay for pussy, but dick is free everywhere. They're mad that women have that cheat code. Religion and control. Can't bother to protect these people, mostly they consider the women, because that would shine a light on it and make them safe instead of the desperation and shame they are expected to feel from the law and in society. Prostitution is a con. The only legitimate way would to cut out a culture of more than two people making an agreement on paid sex. Once you open the gate to more than two people, then you have a con, and that shouldn't be legal. Have you ever heard of STDs? AIDS, COVID and many others as well? But it all okay because they have a pill. Of course, if they had not made the disease in the first place, you wouldn't need the pill now, would you? There's no political will to legalize it because most voters aren't willing to stick their neck out in defense of prostitution, and those who frequent prostitutes are fine with confronting the risk of prosecution. Traditional morals and values, that can be someone's mother or sister and daughter and GF and wife, forgot to say them. You are banging if you don't have a problem with that. A lot of people do, including me. Pissed off wives that want full sexual control over their husbands so they can continue to manipulate them into getting what they want. Without sexual control, they lose most power in the relationship. Moralism. People don't want to legalize what they consider to be immoral behavior. Also, I really don't think that legalizing it will solve anything. Sex work is disgusting and traumatizes women. It's legal in the town I am in right now. Pahrump, Nevada. Beyond that though, I pretty much figure the only reason it's really illegal in the rest of the country is due to religious prudes. I'm pretty sure paying for sex is legal. I think the illegal aspect is usually the soliciting, and other activities associated with it. This varies depending on your country region. Human trafficking is the biggest problem in my eyes. Women and men being forced into that life against their will. Diseases spread much faster. 3 things that come to mind. In the US, the federal government left it up to the states to decide whether it's legal or not. In Nevada they let the counties decide, and it's legal in some of those. Prostitution is legal where I live. It's under taxation. Completely viable. It's just social and religious biases that keep it from being legal in presumably the USA. Seeing as a lot of men are in power and they have wives, I could see them not supporting it. Why get married when you could pay for the best? Just my opinion though. In no particular order. Health concerns. Defending the family, rolling eyes face. Religious objections. Social stigma. No way for politicians to profit from it. Honestly, morality police. Prostitution should likely be legal, as well as pot, with a heavy regulation attached, to prevent abuse and underage prostitutes. The right people not being paid off, probably because it's largely a decentralized business with no hopes of a union to help lawmakers come to a decision. Lol. I take it you live in America. One of real last Western places where it's still illegal. Stop voting for Puritan religious kook fuckheads. Maybe. Ethics. You're using someone else's body for your own pleasure. With higher demand means more trafficking, thus more people being taken advantage of. Because any situation where women exert our own agency and, especially where we can make money off of doing so, is a threat to the patriarchy. What is the difference between prostitution and taking somebody out to dinner, paying for it, and then taking them home to have sex? In most countries, it's a combination of moralizing old people and governments being worried that there's no efficient way to tax it. In some places, nothing, because it's not illegal everywhere. In places where it is legal, the laws have to be carefully written. If it's legalized, then some government body has to regulate it. With prostitution, that's just about an ethical impossibility. In the good old US&A, money is everything. Prostitution is not a well-balanced taxable industry, if you know what I mean. Prostitution is multi-billion business, who feeds many criminals, police officer and officials. They won't share the pie. Although it's illegal, everyone known where to find one, and business is unstoppable back then, now and even in future. Southern Baptist Convention, the Catholic Church, Church of Latter-day Saints, Grimace, Rob Manfred, and Dan Cortese. The combination of corporations not being able to monetize it and religious groups needing it illegal for control. Every citizen already gets fucked daily and pays for it. The government fucks you and you pay for it in taxes. Easy. There's a law that says prostitution is illegal. If there wasn't a law like that, then it would be legal. Thought it was legal most places. Whores will whore and horny guys will horn. Oldest profession in the books. Uncle Sam can't get his portion of money if people just prostitute themselves without government involvement. Moral thing? Society based on getting sex easily would make it easier to do less things properly. Not sure. Jealous women who use sex to manipulate and trap men into lifelong servitude. Why buy when they can rent? The already blatant abuse, manipulation, and other illegal activities that happen within the sex industry. Maybe you should specify the country you're talking about. Because here in Germany prostitution is legal. It's already legal for them who want that service, everyone knows it but don't know why it's not legal. It may be moral and ethical concerns, social stigma, concerns about exploitation and human trafficking. In America? Conservative religious values where they just molest and rape instead of paying for it. Old farters, hypocrites pretending family guys, and certain women with a lack of self-confidence. A legislator who endorses such a bill might as well kiss their political career goodbye. Probably human trafficking? I heard selling is legal in Canada but paying for the service is not.